It's not all that difficult to become an expert in duck recognition. The best hunters know their waterfowl well. They've studied the game species carefully, know how they fly, where they go, and what they look like in all kinds of weather conditions. Knowing more about ducks is not only a challenge to the hunter, it can also become an extension of our sport through the closed season. All game ducks have fairly obvious shapes and patterns, so they can be easily identified by looking for a few simple features. The first, and probably the most important feature, is wing pattern. Look for any white areas on the wings and note their size and position. Hardheads have long white stripes which can be easily seen at a great distance. These mountain duck are another good example. Their broad white wing patches can be seen from a long way off. The contrast between body, underwing and neck is another thing to look for. The pale face and white underwing of black duck contrast strongly with its dark body and upper wing. These are freckled duck. Notice the absence of any real plumage contrast or wing pattern. Be very careful about firing at birds that are uniformly coloured. They may not be game species. Freckled duck are totally protected in all states. Some ducks also have distinctive outlines or shapes. The large square-ended bill of pink-eared duck is very obvious. These are wood duck. Notice the smaller bill. In shape, they also look a bit like geese. Freckled duck have a humped back shape with the head held low and a dished-shaped bill. Bright colour patches can be seen on the males of some species in good light. Watch these male shovelers or blue wings. They have a small blue patch on top of each wing and a large white patch beneath. They also have bright orange legs which are quite visible even at this distance. Watch them as they drop down. In good light, the male chestnut teal is very colourful. But this colour becomes harder to see in poor light. In poor light, it's difficult to see any colour on these blue-billed ducks. They have no wing markings at all. Some ducks have distinctive calls which can help you to identify them in poor light conditions. Perhaps the easiest to remember are the chirruping calls of pink-ears as they wheel about in big flocks. Even in difficult lighting conditions, a good hunter knows the calls of all the waterfowl species in a swamp. These are black swans calling as they come into land. They are a protected species. And of course, most hunters know the drawn-out quack of black duck when they're flushed from cover. The loud honking you can hear are the calls of mountain duck. And there's the chuckling call of grey teal, one of the commonest sounds in our wetlands. Size can also be an aid to identification, particularly in bad light conditions. The two large birds are black duck. The rest are teal and hardheads. On the water, mountain duck look much larger than grey teal or the shoveler. Black duck and mountain duck are the largest game species. Pink ears are the smallest of all our duck species and very easy to recognize even in poor light. The way birds behave can also give you clues to their identity. Mountain duck, for instance, often fly in long, wavering lines high in the sky or in V formations. They will often drop quickly to a lower level with great speed. This sort of behavior is worth remembering. You can tell that these are nearly all pink ears by the size of the flock wheeling. Wood duck often graze along the banks of waterholes or creeks. Mountain duck will do the same. The bluebill is one of several birds that dive. Hardheads and musk duck are two other common diving birds. All others are surface feeders. The type of wetland that ducks live in can sometimes give you a clue to their identity. Well-vegetated freshwater swamps are the favourite haunt of black duck and grey teal. Pink ears are inland birds that prefer shallow, muddy waters. Coastal inlets and swamps are the home of chestnut teal. All species of waterfowl are quite distinctive, and once you've become familiar with a few of them, you'll understand the basic principles of identification that we've been talking about. Shape, size, colour, calls, behaviour and habit. It's important to remember that all Australian water birds are protected at all times, except those few waterfowl listed as game species each year. Nothing else is legal game, and heavy penalties can follow if you are caught shooting protected birds even at... The genuine hunter knows all this and obeys the regulations carefully wherever he goes. He will single out a particular bird in a hole, identify it and shoot. If he's in any doubt, he won't pull the trigger. The hunting experience demands that kind of responsibility.